Hey guys, what's up? Shadowlands back from the video. I know it's been quite a long time. I went on a month-long vacation that I took for winter break. I needed to take some time to myself after a very difficult term at school. Finally back in the saddle. Let's get going with this again. Today I want to go over a couple of different things, and let's take a look at what we've had going on in the past month or so. And I also want to do some analysis over the recent unbanning wave, if you want to call it that. So we'll save that for the end of the video, but I'm going to make the early part a little bit quick. We're going to quickly evaluate the SVS sale that's going on again. The Elite EU 8th Anniversary M92FS, crazy long name, weapon that they are allowing you to craft and forge now. We're going to quickly do a short overview of that, and then we're also going to take a look at the new core weapons that have been announced, and I'm just going to do a quick brief overview of the SG50 core and the Snow Camo AR-15 core. Not so much of a review, just a quick overview of how the weapon more or less performs and whether or not you should waste your money on it or spend your money on it, or if you view it as wasting, or however you want to put it. But anyway, let's jump right in. So first of all, we're going to take a look at what we were doing with the Mist Sovereigns and the Mythic License. Honestly, this is the same as it's always been, and they're becoming a lot more frequent to get a hold of, so it's not super, like, high on the priority list unless you really need them right now. So if you still have a ton of days left on your Mythics, I wouldn't worry about it too much. You're going to have a lot more opportunities, especially coming up with Valentine's Day and St. Patrick's Day. They usually like to capitalize on these sales and make a whole bunch of different things go on sale that you can buy. So we're probably going to be seeing the return of a lot of different things. Mythic License probably. So a lot of stuff like that we're likely going to be seeing the return of. It's not going to be a huge deal. Also, they are selling the XM8s again, by the way. The Spiders and the Scorpions. If you still, for whatever reason, do not have that picked up, it is an excellent weapon. It is statistically a lot better than the regular XM8, and it's typically a very good competitive weapon. Personally, I like the Spiders, and there's only one major difference between the gun aside from the way it looks, and that's the sound that it makes. And this may sound kind of strange, but the Spider sound really just seems to not catch as much attention as the Scorpion sound. The Scorpion has kind of a weird muffled bass sound that seems to attract a lot of attention, whereas the Spiders just sounds kind of like an ordinary, relatively high-pitched gun that makes kind of loud bangs, more or less, I guess, when you shoot the gun. So, I don't know, it just feels more natural to me, even though they do perform exactly the same. So if you are super impartial to the green color, go for it. Or you could, go for both if you really just want to be able to quick switch weapons really easily and not have too much of a change in performance. So there's that as well. However, they do have different recoil patterns than the regular XM8, so be very careful when you're going into that. As far as the rest of the gear, the Scorpion and Spider skull masks, the vests, and then also this random gear that they're selling, that's all kind of a waste if you ask me. I wouldn't bother with it. Ordinary recon vests and other recon vests are better statistically than them, so I wouldn't worry about them too much. We're going to have better sales. And then the Elite EU 8th Anniversary M92FS and the Elite US 8th Anniversary M1911. These are craftable weapons, and if you did not pick up the M1911, I highly recommend you do, because if you're going into a pistols-only match, this is an excellent one-clicking weapon. Even if you're not doing pistols-only, it's a relatively high-damage weapon series, and it's a very, very accurate weapon series. The only one that I personally prefer more than it, aside from the gold, which is an NX rare, is the silver, because not only did you used to be able to customize the silver so you can make it notably a lot stronger than it comes at base anyway, it just performs really, really well. Has an extra magazine worth of bullets that you can use. It's very fast spread recovery. It's pretty much the same as the rest of the M11 series, M1911 series, so I would just recommend picking those up if you can. The M92FS, I've actually not had a chance to use, but statistically, it doesn't look like it's a whole lot better than the regular M92FS gold that you can buy for GP, so it just depends on what you really want to do. The recoil pattern shouldn't really matter because it's a very high spread gun anyway, so the recoil isn't going to be a big deal. However, the M92FS series is pretty well known for having a very fast spread recovery, so if you're looking into that and that matters to you, then this may be a way to go. Anyway, the rest of the gear that's been on sale is kind of pointless. So, moving on now, we're going to take a quick look at the core weapons. The two newest ones that we have, at least that are shown on the website, are the SIG-50 core and the Snow Camo AR-15 core. And I'm going to be blunt. I think they're both kind of a waste of money if you already have the SIG-50 or you already have the AR-15. Here's my reasoning. The SIG-50 is already basically one of the best sniper rifles in the game. Making it just slightly better is not going to so drastically change the performance of a weapon that already has nearly perfect spread recovery and very consistent one-shot killing damage with an appropriate range. It's not going to change that functionality very much. However, yes, it is statistically slightly better here and there, and if you do not already have a SIG-50, why not buy the core? You might as well. And the same kind of thing goes with the AR-15. It's already a quite overpowered weapon. However, the number one thing that it's used for isn't just spraying down at close range. It is very effective, effective at that, don't get me wrong, but any weapon can do that. An M416 CQB camo can do that, AK-47s and 74s can do that. The thing that makes this thing special is at very long ranges, it's very, very easy to land those headshots and tap fire because it has very good recoil control, and also it fires the 2 bullets at once, so you have twice the chance of getting a headshot as long as your aim doesn't suck monkey dick. So anyway, definitely go and try to pick this weapon up if you do not already have an AR-15 for permanent. If you already have an AR-15 for permanent, unless you just have an absolute boner for the weapon, don't bother buying this version of it. It seems like kind of a waste of money if you ask me. It's very expensive. It is $37 worth of an X, so unless that is your absolute favorite gun in the game and you want to have more than one of it, which is viable for some people, I wouldn't bother with it. That's just my personal opinion, though. Now, the big thing that most people want to hear about, and what I kind of want to go over today, is the whole cleaning the barracks, account infractions and suspensions revised. Now, I think a lot of people saw this initially and jumped the horse a bit. They were saying, oh, this is part of the Make CA Great Again, and they're going to unban everybody, and I don't think that's what's happening. From what I'm reading about here, they're more or less saying that, I'm going to read off this last paragraph on the website actually, without limiting the foregoing, our combat arms team reserves the right to decline service to any user, blah blah blah. If you want to file a report for any of the following reasons, it's the same reasons that we've already had, from free killing, account selling, hacking and cheating, scamming, power leveling, glitching, megaphone abuse, name abuse, and harassment. At the very bottom, they then say, due to the severity of some of the changes regarding the graveness of the infractions, we've decided to review the past account suspensions based on our new rule set and to remove the account suspension if the suspension did not line up with our new rule set or it was in a gray area. Now, there's a couple of things that I think they will take into account for this. First of all, how long ago was the actual ban or the temporary ban established? Was it something that you got your account banned 3 years ago because you hacked one time? They're probably going to unban you. However, I get the feeling most of these accounts are going to be very low-level accounts that were just kind of smurf accounts. People were just trying out hacks on and probably got banned, and it didn't really matter that much. Some of the higher-ranked accounts they will probably be more lenient with and unban, although a lot of things that they also mention here, they were saying that they may also include a name change that they require you to use. It had some very weird kind of notes in here, so it looks like they may have you try to change your name or change certain things about your account. They may remove certain weapons from your account if they deem that you were, you know, hacking to get weapons or whatever. There's a lot of different things that they say you could be hacking to do. Power leveling in particular, that's one that I really, really wanted to focus on with this video. Hacking's kind of obvious. You hack, you get banned. It's that simple. However, power leveling, on the other hand, is very, very gray. I think that's really the big gray area they were talking about. What are you power leveling for? Are you power leveling for GP, for EXP? Are you power leveling to get enough event items so that you can craft something? What are you doing? Well, power leveling, in my opinion, is kind of bad, because what it does is it allows you to unlock stuff pretty early on, and well, let me put it this way. I think power leveling has the potential to be as bad as hacking, depending on what you're doing. If you're power leveling for GP, that's not as bad, because GP is something everyone gets over the course of time, and you are literally saving time. But if you are going and power leveling your EXP, then you're actually unlocking new stuff and getting yourself to have rights to more things in the shop and various things like that. And I think that is actually something that can change metas, so I wouldn't be super okay for that. Now, that being said, I don't condone any kind of power leveling whatsoever. I don't do it myself, and I don't recommend any of you guys do, because they do still ban for it, obviously. But it seems what they're doing is, for the majority of these different things that they ban for, they're going to be a little bit lighter on it, and also they're going to keep it private from now on, so they're not going to post it publicly. And to be honest, I'm actually very against that. I liked having it be public. If you're a clan leader, as I was for a very long time, it's very important to be able to know what people get banned for, and if you know someone's history with the game, they're not going to come right out and say, oh yeah, I aimbot and flew around and hacked and did stuff like that. Nobody's going to admit to that. They might just say, oh, I got banned for harassment or something very low level. They won't just come out and say that, and now there's no way to monitor that. However, I feel like if you're a clan leader and someone has applied to your clan and they've been banned before, you should be able to see what they were banned for. I feel like that is fair gameplay. I don't think it's completely fair to not have any record that people can see whatsoever that someone's been banned. Even if it didn't tell you what they got banned for, if they could just have a little like check mark saying, yes, this person's been banned one time and it was a temporary ban, it wasn't a permanent ban. So like if you can look on their account and see, oh yeah, they were banned for 3 days. They probably just said something in the chat that the mods didn't really agree with or something. So it would not obviously hold as much weight as if, like, oh, you were flying around hacking. This person was banned permanently at one point, and he was unbanned 3 years later. That might say a little bit more. So it would carry its weight, but it also would somewhat preserve the privacy of the person who the account belongs to. So it would address this issue that Nexon has brought up about privacy. So that's my personal opinion on that part. That's really the only issue that I have with this whole new system. I don't know what their new system is and what their new kind of weights for each kind of infraction are. So is harassment now a worse thing to do, and is glitching now no longer as bad? Honestly, I feel like glitching is something that the company needs to take control of themselves. Obviously, repeated glitching in a spot that's been there for a long time, I think that's kind of BS on the company's account. So like obviously in short views, there's a lot of little glitches you can do with crouch spamming and also using the windows improperly and getting to places that you shouldn't be able to get to. And those have been there since day one of the game. And at this point, it is the company's problem to deal with it. Obviously, you can submit glitching images to the company and then they can say, okay, we need to go and fix this. And if they don't, at that point, it's their fault. However, if it's a new glitch, they also need to be very, very wary and do a little bit better sandbox testing. Obviously, not every single thing will fit through the filter of their play testing, but it's something that they need to keep in mind. So I feel like glitching should probably be less of an important thing. However, if it's in a competitive match, that should carry more weight. If they can create a way for glitching or like certain things like harassment and glitching and scamming and stuff, obviously scamming is not a huge deal in competitive, but if you're looking at a competitive environment, if we're talking about the clan matches and if we're talking about competitive matchmaking servers that they might one day put in, then we want to have different weights, I suppose you could call it, for what these infractions will be. If you're hacking in global, and it's your first time ever hacking in your Smurf account, yeah, go just ban them for a week or something. It's not that big of a deal. But if they're hacking in a clan war and their account's like very high level, yes, ban them for a couple of months and make it really get the point across that no, it is not okay to be hacking on this, and you've really created a kind of big problem here. But that being said, I feel like it's good that they're bringing down the whole level at which they're looking at things. So they're saying, okay, we're not going to ban you for 3 years anymore, we're going to ban you for 3 months. And that's more reasonable, I think, because then people don't lose their money and time that they put into accounts. It's sort of like a slap on the back of the wrist, and some slaps are harder than others. But that's kind of where I want to leave off this video. I gave you guys my opinions on what this whole new banning wave and unbanning wave, if you want to call it that, has been going through. So hopefully that gives you guys some insights as to what may be good to think about critically and other things that just may not be that important, because I feel like when this thing first came out, people blew it way out of proportion from the videos I saw on YouTube, and it just doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Obviously, there's some things that are important, and it was important enough for them to go and like announce this publicly. But my big point is that it's something we shouldn't be that worried about. Instead, we should be looking forward to new content, which I will be covering in the next couple of months as they start releasing more stuff. And I will see you guys in the next few videos. Shadowlance out.